And we're live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is where you are right now. Because wherever you are right now is the best place you can be right now, right? Okay, my name is Peace Ogbuagu Abaimu, and I'm your host on the weekly regular Topic Peace live show. The show that is designed to meet people at the very point of their needs with the resources that is compatible with meeting those needs. Yeah, basically that's what we do. So every other week we come on here with a special guest who discusses with us on topics that are tailored to meet with social needs. The needs, you know, whatever social need there are out there, we have topics that are tailored to meet those needs. And we have special guests who come online to help us trash or dissect those topics in such a way that it will be easy to relate with for everyone. And we've done that consistently since last year. That is 2021. We started about, I think it was about April, we started, and we had our seasons 1 and 2 same year. And this year we started season 3 in January 2022. And about 16 to 17 episodes down the line, we are finally set to say, hooray! It is the end of season 3. It's our season 3 finale. And I'm so excited. Initially, I thought I was going to run through the year without going on break. I thought I was just going to, keep going a topic a week, a topic a week till the end of the year. I wanted to see how I would be able to achieve that. But I had to listen to the voice of reason when friends and partners called and said, for every show, in as much as you want to be able to do it all and to just keep going. We've seen your consistency, we've seen your strength, we've seen your grace, but still take a back seat and rest a little and then reshuffle what you're doing, reshuffle your program, look into it again and then see where you can make some adjustments. And because I'm a listening, yeah, I listen when I'm told to sit back and listen. I listen, and I decided to actually call it a break at this time. So after today, we'll be going on break to resume sometime in August by the special grace of God. And before then, um, it's a bumper edition today. I'm going to be doing a brief rundown. Of course, I said taking a swipe at some of the topics that we've treated since we started season 3. It's been an exciting journey. It's been an exciting journey. Having to come on here every other Thursday to speak with us is not something that I find very easy to do. In as much as I love talking, beyond loving talking, I love to make impact. I love to make impact in the lives of. I'm one of the people who believe in the saying that you should leave people better than you met them. That when you walk into a place, you should leave it. When you walk into a place and then you get out of it, you should ensure that you left them better than you met it. It's one saying that I stick to. Okay, so basically today we're going to be doing more like a summary of what we've done this season. And so I'd like you to, as soon as you join me, please, like I always ask you to do, please drop a comment, drop a like, um, click on the like button or the heart emoji button, or the care or the wow, but not the sad face and not the angry face. Okay, so I'd like you to please do something to let me know that you're here with me. I'd like you to drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from. I'll also like you to please click on the share button and let people on your wall also know that there's a program called Talk with Peace, because I believe that we're doing a lot to impact lives. I do get responses, feedback every other week from people who tell me how much they've been blessed by a particular episode or by the whole thing we've been doing. It's encouraging, really, really encouraging. And I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who've been a part of this journey since I started about last year. It looks like it was child's play, but then because of the feedbacks that have been coming, I know that many times when I'm faced with challenges of I don't know how to go on, I don't know if I can hold on and all that. the feedbacks, the encouragement keep me going. There are times I get criticisms, very welcome, because it helped me to know where to make adjustments. And it's been interesting, I assure you. Really, really interesting. Okay, so when we started this year, before I go there, please, as soon as you join the live, do drop click on the like button or on the heart emoji or the care emoji, and then please tell me where you're watching from. Just say something in the comment box. Say hi. It's our season 3 finale. Please make it exciting for me. I'd like you to show me how excited you are that this season is coming to an end. And of course, you know that the end of a thing should signal the beginning of another. So I'd like you to show me how excited you are that this season is ending and a newer, more beautiful edition is about to be unfolded in the future. Okay, so I'll drop a comment. Tell me how much this show has impacted you since you started being a part of it, since you joined the community. Help me know how this show has helped you, has blessed you. I like to know. I like to know that I'm not just coming on here to talk every other Thursday and to show my pretty face. Yeah, I like to know that it's not just me coming to show my pretty face every Thursday and just, coming to talk and then bring people. We're not blabbing. We're dealing with topics that are essential to human existence. And as a result of that, we do believe that we're making some level of impact. We may not be able to impact everyone at the same time, but one person at a time, one person who has picked up something from what we share every other week is enough for me. It's enough. It's enough encouragement to keep going on, because I know that with each person that you impact, you don't know how many other people around them that impact would also rub off on. So please do help me share. Do help me share. Thank you so much. So we started this year discussing goals development strategies, and I remember saying to us on that day that I got to learn about goals setting when I joined my current church, Daystar Christian Center. Yes, I'm going to be mentioning the name because it has been impactful to me. My life has been changed a whole lot. My mindset has been changed. Thank you, Mr. Terry Omodibo. Thank you so much, sir. He says, well done. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you for the encouragement. Thank you for every word of encouragement. I totally, totally appreciate. Thank you, sir. Okay, so I was saying that we started the year discussing goals development strategies, and that was handled by our pastor, one of our pastors from Daystar Christian Center, and that's Pastor Boye Oloyede. I remember that day vividly, like today, because I remember that on that day we had issues with connecting online. We tried severally, Facebook wasn't working. We just kept trying several things and none was working. I was getting exasperated. I was so anxious. I did not know what next to do. We thought about going to Zoom. We thought about several things. I berated myself for not going on, trying it out with him to see how it was going to play out before the D-Day. But somehow, graciously, Pastor Boye was able to advise on us going to Zoom. And much later that day, we still held the conversation. And what a conversation it was on how to develop and set goals. And so, like I started out when I started talking about goal development strategies, that was the first topic we treated this season. I said I got introduced to goal setting when I joined Daystar Christian Center. That wasn't the first time I would confront the idea of setting goals. But what I knew as goal setting from way back before Daystar was more like wishful thinking, wishful thinking, things that I thought I would, that I romanticized in my head, fantasized about. I put them down on paper. I wanted, things that just fascinated me. I just put them down on paper, and then, I kept going back. Obviously, I never went back to check on those things now. Okay, so it was different from what I learned after I joined Daystar. I never went back to look at them to see whether they were coming to pass or not, because they were just wishful thinking. There were things I was hoping, okay, somewhere at the back of my mind, I wish so thing would happen for me. I wish, so stuff would, happen or turn out or play out in my life. But after joining Daystar Christian Center, I discovered that people were taught to actually set goals, goals that were meant to be achieved, not just thoughts, not just thought patterns, not just things that they saw other people doing, but things that where they saw themselves. I remember Pastor Sam would say you should set goals for the next 5 years, set goals for the next 10 years, and more than that. He even had a template of setting goals that he had dreams that he had about the country Nigeria. So that was fascinating. I was like, whoa, blown away. So people can actually take stuff like this seriously. You go ahead, set goals for your finance, for your relationship, for your family, for your career, and stuff like that. That was really amazing. And so we had Pastor Boye come on to discuss with us about the strategies for setting goals. He gave us a strategy. I remember he called it SMART, the SMART goal strategy. And I'm not going to give you everything because today is meant to be a summary that should whet your appetite to want to go back and look for our videos and watch them. So I'm going to be doing snippets here and there, and then I'm going to be leaving you to go over to our YouTube channel or look for us on Facebook or on Twitter, where you see all these videos uploaded, where you can watch them and learn the things that these people have shared. They did not just I never paid anyone to come on the show. So if they came of their own accord and shared these things with us freely, the least we can do is make out time once in a while, peruse through, just sit back, find time, maybe at a time when you're not too busy, in the evenings, whatever time that it's convenient for you, and just glance, listen, just take out time, listen to some of the things that they taught. There's so many information online today, I agree. So sometimes you discover that if you're not careful when you go online, the things that take your attention are just things that make you laugh, and your data is going. You're not learning something new. So if these people have made out time and have put their knowledge, their expertise into some 1 hour video, I think it shouldn't be asking too much to ask us to make out time and go watch this video. So I'd like you to go over to our YouTube channel where you find goals development strategies as discussed with Pastor Boye Oloyede. He did a whole lot of justice to that topic. And I think we had a session together where he asked me what some of my goals were, and I shared with him. And one of the goals I had beginning the year was to have a more stable network. Because one issue I usually encountered on the show is that where I'll have guests and I won't be able, especially in his own case, I won't be able to locate them. We kept trying to fix and locate Pastor Boye, but we couldn't. It was an uphill task. So I kept hoping, believing, wanting to fix that one, such that when I bring someone on the show, we'll be able to, just connect easily. It was a goal, and I want to tell you that I have that achieved already. It didn't come easy. I had friends and partners who were with me all through the journey. They would come ask me what's going on. Okay, how can we come in? Where can we help? And I'll be like, this is what my challenge was. And, graciously, most of them were able to step in, and we have solved that particular problem. Yes, we keep having little technical challenges from time to time, but this part of the world, we expect things to go a little haywire once in a while, but they are not things that we usually cannot handle. Okay, so from that topic, we moved on to becoming a better you in 2022, and I had the beautiful Kelechi Mba come to discuss that topic with us. Oh, wow. How you could become a better you in 2022. Of course, I remember she talked about you, first of all, knowing where you are, discovering where you are, because you don't talk about where you're going to until you talk about where you are currently. And then you begin to picture where you want to be, and then begin to take steps to get there. She shared with us on the second edition or episode of the show this season. I remember we also had challenges on that. Oh, geez. Okay, so we've come a long way. We've come a long way, and a lot of things have improved. Right now, I remember we had a lot of challenges on that day too. We kept trying and trying, almost like the same way it was with Pastor Boye's own episode, where we kept trying to connect. The internet wasn't working. I couldn't find her. The connection was just crazy. Um, but graciously, somehow, much later in the day, we also were able to host that discussion, to hold that discussion. And she came, blazing swords, breaking thoughts, patterns that we already have had about ourselves in the past, and how we could work on improving on our personalities. Yes, she talked about how we could become better in our relationships. She talked about how we could become better in our finances, setting goals. Of course, it had to do with setting goals because the whole of the first, I think, first four episodes, we talked about developing a better you, especially in the area of personal development now. Yeah, so she talked about how you could work on becoming a better you in your family, and all that and all that. So head on over to our YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel is at Talk with Peace Live. Just go to YouTube, go to the search bar, and type Talk with Peace Live, and will pop up. What can you do? Just click on the subscribe button, and set your notification on, and every time we go live, you will find us. And beyond that, as soon as you go over there, you subscribe, so all the videos that we've done so far will pop up on your screen, and you can click on each one that you would like to watch, and then watch. Also, please do drop us comments. If there are things you think we need to work on, you can drop the comments right in the comment box. If there are suggestions, please also do drop them. If there are questions, drop them in the comment box, and we'll revisit them much later. Okay, so that was that. And then after Kelechi Iba, we moved on straight to the biggest challenge I had this season, and that was when I discussed the pitfall called distraction with Pastor Bemi King. That day the network came angrily charging at me and said there was no way we were going to hold that conversation. Unfortunately, I couldn't get to hold the conversation with him as much as I would have wanted to, but I think somehow I got to share on some on what some of I think yeah he was able to come in once in a while, but basically he couldn't actually share all that he had prepared to share with us because the network wouldn't let him rather, wouldn't let him share all he had um, prepared for the day. But some of the pitfalls, we identify that on the way to becoming a better you, that one of the major pitfalls you would encounter is distraction, because as humans, usually we are prone to get carried away by so many things. Thank you, Deborah Yetunde Ademuwagu, for joining us this afternoon. Yes, like I say, it's a beautiful afternoon here in the city of Lagos. I don't know what time it is where you are. I don't know what the weather is like. The only way I can do is if you actually drop a comment telling me, and then I can appreciate where you are and where you're joining from. Okay, so we talked about the pitfall called distraction, because we realized that on the way, on the road to becoming a better you, to building, developing yourself, one of the major pitfalls you would encounter would be that of distraction, because especially faces. So if you're not careful, you find it difficult to keep up with the things that you started with. It's not enough to set goals. It's not enough to start out the year with plans on how you want each year. Important to It's also very important to look out for distractions in the form of somebody is doing something, you're already set on this path. Let's say you started out the year, you wanted to start a new business, and this new business involves um, let me look at one of the basic businesses that we have around. Let's say somebody wanted to start making snacks. Okay, your plan was to start making snacks. Oh, this year I want to put some money together, I want to start making snacks. I found a little corner where I could do this business. I put some money together, and then you map out strategies. You've told yourself how much you're going to spend in buying the raw materials for the business. You've discussed and arranged on the location. You've calculated all that there is to calculate, and then boom, you start the business. You set a goal. You've started. You get moving along the line. It looks like okay, you came out the first day. Obviously, sometimes when it comes to business, sometimes the first time you start, you discover that people, we say, rush you. People, rush you. They come, they like what you're doing, you're new, so people come towards what you're doing and they patronize you. And there are other times when you start a business, you discover that nobody shows up because people are trying to view, okay, is this person for real? Okay, I did not know that there was something like this. Okay, I'm getting to know. I want other people to patronize and tell me what it's like before. If people are different like that, and then maybe because of one or two of those reactions, depending on the one that comes at you first, you start thinking, let's take, for example, the person who started that business and obviously did not have patronage from the beginning. And then after a while, they begin to get discouraged, and they begin to think, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing snacks, because obviously maybe the person who is across from them is selling something else, maybe selling drinks. They are not selling drinks, somebody else is selling drinks, and they begin to think, oh, maybe I wasn't meant to be doing this. Maybe that's where the money is. Maybe we should switch there. Maybe we should do this. Maybe we should do. There's a whole lot, So there's a whole lot of things that cause distraction. This is just one out of so many examples. So it's important to look out for those distractions and to do all you can to avoid them. One of the ways to avoid those distractions will be to stay focused. Ask yourself, why did I begin? I know that a lot of times in business, they ask you to know your why. Why did I start? It's to keep you going. Why did I start this business? Why did I choose? What was the first reason? Was it because I was going broke and I did not want to go, I did not want to go begging? Is it because I saw that people are doing it and they are doing well in it? Is it because I am bored? Find your why. That will keep you going. If you're not able to find your why, trust me, when distractions come, they will sway you away. Okay, so for more of that, I'd like to go over to our YouTube channel where you find the people called distraction. Okay, so as soon as we were done with that topic, we had entered the love month, which was February. And so we thought, okay, what better way to move personal development forward than to talk about relationships? And then we had a discussion with Daniel Kemka. He discussed with us on how far can love go? How far can your love go? Because we discovered that many times people get into relationships without counting the cost. Till today, I still had a discussion with someone recently, and I said, do you know that many times when people say they're in love or they're in a relationship, they are courting, they're dating or something, many times people never really discuss the nitty gritties that they should be discussing in their relationships. And trust me, by the time they come into the relationship proper, especially when marriage is involved, you discover that things that showing up that make them question themselves on, why did I even start out with you in the first place? Why did I not take out time to find out if this is what I wanted to do? I do not blame a lot of people most times. I remember what an uncle of mine used to say, that love blinds people. That there's nothing you say to people that are in love that they will hear you, because they are blinded by, the passion of the moment. But sometimes it's not just the passion. Thank you, Miracle Thompson, for joining. Says awesome. Soon we'll have you on TVs around the world. Amen to that. I say amen. Okay, so thank you for joining. I think it's your first time. I'm not so sure, but I think it's your first time of joining us. So I'm appreciating you from here. Thank you so much for that encouragement. Okay, so we discovered that when people get into relationships, the first thing on their minds is they just want a partner. A lot of people get into relationships because they want a partner. Some people get into relationships for selfish reasons, okay? And when they do, and after a while, they discover that the reasons why they got into it can no longer hold. You see that problems begin, there are problems everywhere. And before you know it, people are daring to get out. And that's why they say fools rush in where angels fear to tread. I've also heard that, especially in marriages, that they say that the people who are in marriages are rushing to get out, while the people who are outside of it are rushing to get in. it shouldn't be the case actually. When you find the one you love, it should be able love should be able to keep you guys strong despite whatever comes. That's another story for another day. But we had a discussion with Daniel Kemka. Let me not start digressing on how far can your love go. Should love be measured by what you have? Should love be measured by what you can give? Thank you, Mrs. Uma Okori. I appreciate you. Thank you. You joined in last week and you're here again today. Mwah, blowing you kisses. She said, well done, babe. God bless your good work. Amen. Amen. Should love be measured by what you have? Should love be measured by what you can give? I read something very funny on Twitter yesterday. Somebody said that a lady planned, okay, no, I think the lady was asking the question, how does this surprise thing work? I throw a surprise birthday party for my husband and I bill him later, right? And she was bombarded, in fact, shredded online. And before you know it, they were talking about how that is how females love, actually. They don't know how to give. Okay, so, but in that, I had different views about that very concept. It could be she actually wanted to do it but cannot afford it. It could be something that she wants to do. She desperately wants to also do what she has seen other people doing for their spouses or their better halves or their partners, but she cannot afford to, and so she goes you know throwing you a surprise and then asking you to pay for it much later. I don't know how that plays out. It's different strokes for different folks, really. You see people interpret it differently. But you ask yourself, how far? How far? What should I encounter that will make me tell myself, no, I've had enough? Or what should I encounter that will tell me, oh, I can't do no more? Or how far can I go with this whole setting? How far should I go? When should it be enough? Should it be enough? Is it ever enough? When should it be enough? And all that. There's a whole lot. So to get more on what we discussed on that day, I'd like you to head over onto our YouTube channel at Top of Peace Live, where you see how far can love go, as discussed with Daniel Kemka. We had a bit of network challenges that day, and I think that was about the period where this network stuff started breaking me, because I'll finish the program and I'll be feeling sad and angry that the network would not allow me get the full value of the people that I brought on the show to discuss with us. So we moved on there and we discussed the art of love making. I think that was the Valentine edition. The art of love making. We had Omolola Natural, Adefuye. That woman came and spat fire on the show, discussing with us on the art of love making. She talked with us about how it was imperative to understand our bodies first, understand our bodies as individuals, before expecting somebody else to also, be able to understand us. We also discussed about why it's a lot of people may not be able to achieve orgasm in love making because they do not understand themselves and so cannot convey that message to their partners, who would in turn help them get to that point. Okay, so we had it was a very interesting and robust conversation. I may not be able to say most of the things she said, but if you are having challenges in your love relationship, especially in the sex part, I'd like you to please head on over to our YouTube channel, where Omolola Natural would give you hear all she said that day, receive all she shared with us that day. Meanwhile, let me quickly say that for each of these persons that I have mentioned, I'd like you to also follow them on their social media. They have a lot to share on their walls. Most times if you go over to their walls, you discover that they share some nuggets, some posts on things that will benefit you. So please, for each of these people, I'd like you to go over to the social media platforms, follow them on Instagram, on Twitter, follow them on Facebook. If they're on YouTube, please do follow. They have a lot to share. Okay, so from there we went to I'm single and loving it, because it was just after Valentine. and we had just talked about the art of love making, and we thought, okay, what about the single people? Are we leaving them with nothing? Okay, so we thought, okay, let's talk about the single life. And then we had Pastor Mrs. Joy Ejisun. Oh Lord, she blessed us that day with all she shared about the single life, that you can actually be single and loving singlehood. It was imperative, important for you to love yourself as a single person before somebody else comes along. Sometimes we do not love ourselves enough before we open up ourselves for people to come in. And once they come in, we begin to define ourselves by their standards. It was important for us to set the standards of how we want things to go by ourselves. But sometimes I do agree. So I'll take a breather there. Sometimes you discover that circumstances surrounding you may sometimes change your perception of yourself, over time. Some things happen, and before you know it, you're thinking, oh, you have one new thought about yourself, and people come into your life and get out of it, and they help make, somehow they make you redefine what you think about yourself. In as much as this is harmful, in as much as this shouldn't be so, it happens. It happens. And then when it does happen, you discover that people find it difficult to now determine who they actually are. It's hard for people to determine, to say this is who I am. And before you know it, several people come their way and people walk over them, and it makes it impossible for them to actually identify themselves. They lose themselves because they've allowed several people walk over them. I'm just going to leave it at that right now. I have my own personal experiences where, you allow people crawl into your life, they come in, be, nice and all that, and then along the line they show their true colors, and by the time they are done with you, you sit back, you do not know who you are anymore. Okay, so when that happens, you lose your self-esteem to an extent. Sometimes it's difficult for some people to pick up their self-esteem again, but for others, somehow they are able to somehow patch things up and move on. So it's Mrs. Joy Ejisun shared with us on how we can love our singleness. What funny thing about singlehood is, once you step into that concept called marriage, you've lost it. You've lost it. And except you find somebody who is your soulmate, who is your friend, you guys connect on much deeper levels, you discover that you'll be struggling all through that marriage. So the best time to enjoy yourself, to make new discoveries about yourself, to learn new things, build careers, love God, serve Him, and just develop yourself, is at the time of your singlehood. Okay, so do all you can to to get all you can while you're single before marriage comes in. I was sharing with somebody recently. I said, you see this thing called parenting. Even when you're pregnant, it's easier to run around. With pregnancy, you just get up, you bathe, you carry your bag, you walk out. But as soon as you have a child, for everything you're going to do, you first of all think about where you're going to keep the child, what the child is going to eat, who will be watching them, a whole lot before you make any move. You see why singlehood is very sweet. You just get up, you bathe, you go your way. Nobody, nobody's asking you where you're going to. Nobody's asking you when you'll be back. Nobody's saying, make me meals. So enjoy it now. And I think she also shared some other things. That's just on a lighter note. She shared some other things on singleness and loving it. So do head on over to our YouTube channel and look for that topic. I've had Ayofe Oluwa Ajibola, my secondary school mate, join me since I started. And I've had Adeneko Omotomike Akinsuju. Thank you guys for joining today. God bless you. Okay, so I'm doing a rundown on some of the topics that we've treated since we started this season, because today is our season 3 finale. After today, I'll be taking a break for a few weeks, and then to rest my head, reschedule things, replan, and then come back on air. So that's why I'm doing a rundown. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Okay, so from that topic, we went to understanding temperament. I think that was when we moved into understanding yourself, because if we've talked about singleness and you loving on yourself, what are some of the ways you can begin to love yourself? Number one, you have to understand yourself. Who are you? What are some of the things that fascinate you? What are the things that move you? What are the things that trigger you? So we thought, okay, to understand those things, we need to study the temperaments. Do you even know what your temperament is? Let me ask you. How many of us know what our temperaments are? Okay, let me hold back and then ask you. what I'm sure you must think, what is the importance of studying temperaments? Well, so as I'm going out now to go and get something, what I'm thinking is, what is the temperament of the person I'm going to meet? It is very important. And Adasa helped us understand our temperament and how they impact our daily activities. I remember she shared something on how her temperament as a choleric, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, affected her as a call center representative way back then. Okay, and that gave birth to her becoming an ambassador for temperament discoveries, discussions, and what have you. Okay, so we discussed understanding your temperament. It's important for you to understand your temperament, and if you can also understand other temperaments, it's very important, because there are people you, when you meet, the first thing they do can help you decide how you want to relate with them, and it can help you a lot get out of trouble. I know that me understanding my temperament and understanding certain kind of temperaments help me to relate with certain people that I come across. I used to tell people that there's nobody I can't live with. Yeah, you can be hard, you can be soft, you can be, there's nobody, because I believe that yeah, I mean, there's nobody I cannot live with. Basically, doesn't mean that I'll enjoy living with everybody. Okay, let me get that out there. Doesn't mean that I'll enjoy living with everybody. There's nobody I cannot relate with, no matter how that person is. Even if you're the hardest person, I can, you know, I might be going through the pain of knowing that, oh, you're such a hard person, but then it doesn't mean that I will not, I will survive. You know, basically survive, because when you make a move, I already know, okay, this move is going to tend to that, you know, it's going to lead to that, and this is how I should actually maneuver or navigate my way around you, you know. So that's what understanding temperament does for us. Understanding temperaments as well would also help you in your relationship with other people, especially in your place of work, so that you stop stepping on toes and stop being a bother to people, you know. So, and if you understand the temperaments, you know the things that you can allow in your life and the things that you can say no to. You know, the ability to say no to certain things. Some people don't even know how to say no to certain things. So people are just yes all the way kinds of people. Thank you. Amen, sis. That's Tommy Kesh says, God bless you, sister. Amen. Thank you so much. Okay, so it's important to understand yourself. If you think, or if you had thought that understanding temperaments is something for psychologists and you know, counselors, no, you need to understand your temperament. Know what your temperament strengths and weaknesses are, so that you know how to, you know, navigate through this life. You may have gone through life up to this point. Sometimes you feel people just hate me. No, it's not that. There may be something offish about you that make people, when they come in contact, and you may not know it, but when you go studying about temperament and discover, oh, it must be so thing, you look for ways to make adjustments. And of course, we also learned in that discussion that that the Spirit of God, that's for people who believe in God and who believe in the power of the Holy Spirit, that the Holy Spirit can help you control certain temperament, you know, help you navigate through your temperament. That even though sometimes people look at your temperament and feel that you're somebody who, and you're just annoying, somehow the Holy Spirit helps you, you know, put that temperament together such that you become somebody that is lovable. And it doesn't mean that you should be a mat, a floor mat for people to walk over. No, it just helps you to know when you sometimes appear like you're stupid to people, but you actually know what you're doing. You choose your words. Understanding your temperament helps you to choose your words, know which words to fight, know which to let go of. Okay, so I think I'm doing a good job so far. I'm going to talk about the next topic we treated, which was self-love versus selfishness, and that was handled by yours truly. I talked about the differences there are between self-love and selfishness, and one of the major differences is that self-love, okay, puts the other person first. Yes, self-love puts the other person first, but after you have learned to love yourself, because you know, the Bible talked about you loving others as you love yourself. You're loving others, but you've learned to love yourself first, you know. So it will help you to know how to love others. If you do not love yourself, you won't be able, you don't know what it means to love the next person. You don't know what love is, basically. Okay, so we talked about selfishness, and the selfish people being the people who have the childish mindset that everything should be about them. They don't think about the next person. The world should begin and revolve around them. You know, selfish people are like that. They demand and they never give. Never give. But when you love, when you have self-love, you have a good a good understanding, a good grasp of who you are. You already know that you're made in the image of God, in his likeness. You're amazing, you're superb. The way God sees you, he sees a speck, you know. You don't go about being proud about it anyway, but then it gives you a good balanced self-esteem, and that helps you to relate with other people as well. Okay, so I'd like you to head on over to our YouTube channel and watch that as well. Okay, so from there we move on to having a solid relationship with your maker. I think I'm about wrapping up. And okay, I missed out on looking good, the confidence booster. How could I? We had a discussion with Toye Adeniro, my producer, my friend. He's a fashion designer, model, and content creator, and everything you can think of. That's Toye for you. He discussed with us on looking good, the confidence booster. So if you look at some of the things that I've run through, you discover that most of all the topics that we've treated so far is geared towards building a better you, because all we're looking forward is to having a better us in 2022, that by the time the year runs out and you look back, you see that you've gone through a journey of working on yourself, improving on yourself till you become a better you that you were in the previous year. And then people around you can also testify that, oh, there's been some major changes, you know, around you. You know, you give off certain levels of confidence that wasn't there before, you know, and then you're a better person to relate with, you know. You bring joy wherever you find yourself. Those are some of the reasons why we do what we do, because the world is a very sad place really right now. It's a very sad place where people can wake up in the morning, someone can wake up in the morning somewhere in the Western world and go to a school and think that the best way to unwind, in quotes, is to spray bullets and take the lives of people. Crazy, man. So all we're hoping for is that we can work on one person at a time, develop one person, develop new characters in one new person at a time, you know, that will rub off on the entire world. Okay, so we talked about looking good, and I remember Toye saying emphatically that you can actually look good without breaking the banks. Yeah, that you can look good. It's not about having it all. It's about having the right things. It's not about having everything. It's about having the right things. You can have a pants or two, and if you know how to put colors together, you know how to. And then I remember he also said, if you do not know these things, that you can actually consult. And consulting does not have to be expensive. If you do not know how to put things, because sometimes you discover that people have so much in their wardrobes, but even when you see them outside, you're wondering, what is this one wearing? And sometimes they feel so good, you know, confident that they are wearing designers, they're wearing very expensive clothes, or the total outlook can look crazy and put you off, you know. So where you do not know how to put colors together, where you do not know how to piece things together, because there are patterns out there today that people can put together, and you see some people put certain different patterns together and you're like, wow, I wouldn't do this, but I love it on this person. You know, some people don't know how to do it, and when they do it, you're like, this. You're like, oh my goodness, what is this? You know, and sometimes, like I said earlier, they can be very expensive, and then because people don't know how to put them together, it comes off as you know. So where you do not know how to put colors together, patterns together, pieces together, you can consult people who know. There are fashionistas out there, fashion designers. Go on Instagram, Google them. Of course, you can ask for Toye's contact. He is on Instagram as at distinct underscore fash underscore house. Yes, I'm giving that advert because he is my producer and he's my friend. Okay, so you can follow him for fashion tips, you know, on what you can do to look good. You know, sometimes when you looking good involves smelling good too. Clean here, clean there, you know, wear clean clothes. If you have one, make sure it's always clean. you have one, you probably will find a way to sleep at night, but make sure you wash it overnight so that when you get out the following day, you're looking clean, you smell good. You don't have to break the bank to look good. You know, we talked about those days when you get into a vehicle and you see maybe a motor mechanic, and that's not trying to degrade anybody, but you know where to wear what you're wearing. It's your work clothes, wear it within your workplace. But when you have to mix with other people, please do, at least change, put something over it, or you use an overall in your at your workplace, and when you're going out, you take it off and you still look good. Those days when they used to say that mechanics do not let us, not allow us know when we see with mad people. They used to not care. But I think people are actually doing better today. You know, people are doing better today and being more conscious of their surroundings. Okay, so we moved on to how Christianity is not a religion. Yes, that reminds me. Talked J came and shared with us on how Christianity is not a religion, but a discipline. A discipline. Most of the things that were discussed in that month of, I think that was the month of April, how Christianity is not a religion by Tope J, the problem with religion by Justice Christopher, the fatherhood of God with Pastor Princeton Anyim. I can't even touch those. I need you to go and look for them yourself. They are up on our YouTube channel. You just go click on those topics and watch them. Please, when you do watch, share. I beg of you, after you've watched, share. Okay, so that more people can watch and participate and be a part of what we have put out. We cooked these things, delicious meals, and we can't eat them all by ourselves or store them. Just store them because they will get sour. Okay, of course, this never gets sour. The older it gets, the better it gets. Okay, but we would like people to be a part of it. We'd like people to benefit from them. So please do share. And so from there, we moved on. Oh, yes, I remember Pastor Princeton and him sharing a whole lot of stuff that I felt, hey, God, oh, how is this man trying to break down the things, break down the walls of the things that the walls have erected around my Christianity, so to speak. I remember I said, yes, Tope J, first of all, told us that Christianity, that name Christian was much more like a derogatory name way back when, that was used to describe people who followed Jesus, because they looked down on Jesus based on the fact that when he came as a baby, people were like, that's not who we're expecting as our Messiah. We're expecting a champion, a warlord coming on his horse with his sword in his hand, to set us free from captivity and all that. And he did come like a baby. Hello. And then the things he did were unconventional. He did not live in a palace. Instead, he had no home, according to him, had some disciples, people just, except for the miracles he performed, and some people still feel that those miracles are alleged. Okay, so except for those miracles he performed, people feel like, what was the big deal about him? We were expecting so much more, but this is what we got, So he said Christianity, the word Christian was a derogatory word. People looked at people who follow Jesus, and I can relate with that, So we actually looked at the Christianity as being a discipline, a love walk. You love someone, so you decide to pattern yourself after his ways. That's basically how he put it in a nutshell. Okay, so he shared some more insights about that, and you can see that on our YouTube channel. And then when I had a discussion with Justice Christopher about the problem with religion, oh my goodness, it was a wow. We unearthed some of the things that we had been taught growing up about what Christianity was, and then we looked at some of the things that are happening in our world today, including some ministers of the gospel who do a whole lot to shame this gospel that we received, this gospel that was pure, that was pure, because it was. I'm using the past tense because a whole lot of people have put a whole lot of mess into what it is today. But thankfully, just like in the days of Elijah, where he was saying, I'm the only one, I'm the only one. God said, no, I still have some people that have not bowed their knees to bow. So I believe that there are so many other prophets, apostles, ministers of the gospel who are not doing the trash that we see happening out there. Yes, I say it without flinching. A lot of trash is happening out there in the name of God, and I'm grateful that the Bible still says that in the last days, some will come and say, Lord, Lord, I performed miracles in your name. I did that in your name. And God will say, depart, I do not know you. You can use my name. Yes, you can. If you have my ATM card, you know now. If you have my ATM card and you know the pin, if you slot it into any ATM machine, any dispensing machine, it will give you money. Same it is with the name of God. So if you know God's name, you apply the principles. You can go there. You could be a robber, just like the analogy I was just giving about the ATM card. If you're a robber, you rob someone and you have the pin. If you slot it into a machine, it will dispense cash. So in the same way, if you are false in your heart, but you apply the principles, God will honor his name because that's what he does. You honor his word because that's what he does. But doesn't mean he knows you. He does not know you. So they can as well go on and be doing whatever they like out there, in God's name. But a time is coming where the Bible says people will come and say, Lord, Lord, we did this in your name, we did that in your name, we cast out devils, we healed the sick. And God will say, I'm sorry, I do not know you. Okay, this is my way of saying, make your way right with God. Be known of God, be identified, identify yourself with him now while you can. Okay, so we went into the fatherhood of God where Pastor Princeton helped us understand, helped me especially break that thought of you always trying to equate God with your earthly father. The best of the best earthly fathers cannot be equated with God at all. The best of the best earthly fathers, the one that gave you everything you ever wanted, made all the money so that you never had to walk on the floor. You were reading to school, driven to school. You had the best of the best education, blah, 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 gave you everything. The best of the best fathers can never be equated with God. He's a good, good, good father. Beyond what, and then the worst of the worst fathers can, of course, not even be brought close to the goodness of God. So he taught us not to look at God the way we look at our earthly fathers, and to see him beyond our earthly fathers. He said a whole lot. There are not things I can break down at this moment. The best you can do is, like I said, go over onto our YouTube channel and watch the Fatherhood of God with Pastor Princeton again. And then we moved on to discussing children because we wanted to build a healthy next generation. Whatever we're doing and we do not think about the next generation, we have failed. I remember discussing at the beginning of that session that I saw on TV one of our politicians who was told that one of his sons had declared for presidency here in Nigeria, and he said he did not have a son. This is a man who's claiming to be 70, but I'm not saying anything, but he claims to be 70. He does look older than that. Okay, he said he does not have a son who is old enough to run for presidency. That spoke volumes to me. I know he was trying to run the man down. I know he was trying to run the other person down, but he did not think his words carefully, because if he had thought his words carefully, he should have known that at his age, he should sit back and push his own children, even his biological children. And if he did not have biological children who he could push forward, he should be able to have grown sons. Remember, the Bible talked about Abraham and the kind of people that grew in his household. Each one of them had families, strong men. So when Abraham wanted to go to war, he would incorporate these men into his army, so to speak, and would go to war with them and conquer battles. Man, this our Baba that wants to be president at 70 something. I don't even believe the age he has put forward. Yeah, my opinion, says he does not have a son that is old enough. At 70, you do not have a son that is old enough to be president. He's well with us. So we were looking at the rest of this month, and that's how we ended the season, about how we can build a healthy next generation, so that when we are gone, because we're not going to be here forever. We are not going to be here forever. For every child that has been born into the world, born around us, we need to look after them. We talked about how we can take care of them, We talked about their nutrition. We talked about their rights. All those topics are on our YouTube channel. So please head on over there and click on those topics. I have about run through all the topics that we treated this season. How interesting! How interesting was this? I mean, very robust conversations that were enlightening for me most times, because most of it were eye opening, and I kept going, wow, oh yes, and everything. So I'd also like you to do yourself a favor, go over onto our YouTube channel. Please, I want to grow that YouTube channel between now and the next time we resume. So please help me share, share, share. Every time I share, please help me reshare. Every time I share, help me reshare. Don't bother about whether people are clicking or not. Just share. Just share, share, share. Okay, so that has been the end of season 3. Season 3 has been exciting. Let me now tell you, there are times you believe that God is asking you to do something and you're delaying. And then before you know it, you see somebody beside you doing the same thing, and you're like, ah, they have stolen my idea. Did you share the idea with them? That you're saying they've stolen your idea. No, God is our Father. He loves us. And so when He has ideas He wants the world to hear about, maybe He comes to one person, He tells the person, and He's waiting for you to move. If you do not move, He tells the other person. If you don't move, He just keeps sharing those ideas. The person who gets to go or move with God's ideas, gets blessed in the process. Okay, so there's this idea. I've even shared it on this show a couple of times, that we're going to be discussing success strategies or success processes. That's another angle of the show that I've been trying to birth. Actually reached out to some of the people you call stars, musicians, comedians, actors, people in corporate organizations who have made a name for themselves, because we want them to come and share with us on the journey to getting to where they are right now. That's one of the things you should expect in the coming seasons. In season 4, we're going to be sharing success processes. Nobody blows overnight. Somebody just comes and, maybe they do a song and you hear it and you love it. And before you know it, it's viral. They are playing it all over social media. There are very few people that will sing one song and blow overnight. For every other person, it is a process. So we want to understand that process, because in this part of the world, people want to make it overnight. Young boys see people riding big cars and they want to ride their own cars the very next day. It doesn't work that way. And that is why you've discovered that people, because it's not working the way they expect it, to begin to look for corners, cut corners, put their hands into diabolical things just to, make it. But in this coming season, we're going to be discussing with some of the people who we believe have made it, so to speak. We're going to be asking them what their definition of success is, because what success means to you may not be what it means to me. So we're going to be asking them their success stories, asking them to define what success is, and then having them discuss their success journey with us. For me, maybe I'll start with mine. I may not have succeeded, so to speak. I do not ride big cars. I'm not on TV. I'm not known, So obviously, someone might feel which success you want to talk about. But I've been through a journey. And I believe that when I share my story, one or two people will learn one or two things from my story. So I'll be sharing my journey. And I'm also going to be bringing people on to share their journeys. Their journeys is not going to, the journey I want to hear about, or the story I would like to hear about is not, oh, one day I just woke up and I saw money on the I want to hear them discuss with us the things they had to go through. Maybe if they suffered, we want to hear. If they did not suffer, okay, we want to hear too. If it was easy for them all the way, we want to know. If they had parents that handed over wealth to them, we want to know. If they stumbled on wealth, we want to know how and where, so that maybe we'll go to that junction and wait to receive our own. I'm just kidding. Okay, so I'm just saying all that to say that we'll be discussing success processes in the coming season, so that we understand that everyone has gone through something before they became somebody. Is that okay? Yes. This is where I'll be drawing the curtain. Season 3 has been amazing. Within the period of my holiday, once in a while, I might be dropping some things in some of the comment boxes. They could be recharge cards just to appreciate us. They could be something, anything, mementos. I don't know. So if you're online at some point and you see me drop something and you are able to access it, God bless you. I want to totally today appreciate everyone that has supported me one way or the other, financially, prayerfully, sending words of encouragement. There are so many names I cannot even try to start listing at this time, but I hold you dear to my heart. My heart blesses you. I want to thank everyone that has connected with me on this show at at one given point or the other. Some people show up a few Thursdays, some, go, some watch after because, of course, they're at work at this time. So they see the recap of the video and they let me know. Some do not drop the comments in the comment section, but they come to my inbox or to my WhatsApp and they send me messages and they tell me how well I'm doing. I want to be better. So I'd also want to receive those criticisms so I'll know which areas to work on. But I want to appreciate each and every one of you. I do not take you for granted. I love you. My heart loves you. My heart blesses you. And I look forward to doing more with each and every one of us as God and as time and chance permits. I'll be coming your way again sometime in August. I'll be announcing new dates as soon as we are sure we're ready to get started season 4. And until then, I always say, you be the reason someone has a future smile on their face. Thank you for being a part of my show. Thank you for being a part of Talk with Peace live show. Thank you for being a part of my journey. Thank you for being a part of this community. Go on and spread the love. I love you. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye for now.